खाली गार्डनिंग अभी जैसे ग्रीनरी करने का बस वही है।
Below zero, very rare. And maximum 10, 12, 9, 85.
Okay.
And summer it goes to 36 also.
Very hot. 36.
Yeah, very good.
You have come
Hello.
today.
Yes, sir. Nice.
Very much. Very much.
Hello. How are you?
एकदम फर्स्ट क्लास सर। आप कैसे हैं सर?
Very fine. तो ये जो था ना अभी आप लोगों ने देखा हो तो हम लोग में वो कर रहे थे इसको बोलते हैं इंग्रेडिएंट्स ऑफ फोर्स।
Hello. Hello. Yes, yes, yes.
Hi.
Slow, slow.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, yes, welcome.
You are taking attendance, huh?
40 ಅವನ್ನ
40 ಕೊಡೋದಲ್ಲ.
Peace, voice and joy.
Welcome.
इधर से जाओ ऐसे।
Yes, welcome. नहीं होता है हम ऐसा हाय हाय
यहाँ तो हमने બધું દેખાઈ ગયું।
देखे स्टेटिंग और देखे जो वो ऊपर आवे
એમાં અવાજ બી કેપ્ચર થાય।
हाँ हाँ जे
अच्छा, जो
बे साउंड ट्रैक से
Welcome, sir, to our meeting hall. Friday, Saturday.
डांसिंग
This is today's agenda. So breakfast and experience of course of your sir हो गया। Now there will be joint session, then tea break,
लॉरी
then
था
small group session. Lunch and formal exchange and joint session. What you do?
ललिता जी आपका शूटिंग इज कमिंग
Yes. This is for you. And I will guide you. You can sit anywhere and
Grace, Rose, and John. Welcome.
Friends, some new people have joined today. We welcome them for today's meeting. Today's program is as under. First, we'll be having a session, joint session, in which we'll be reading what is our work to humanize the earth. Then from 11:30 to 12, we'll be having a tea break at this place only, meeting hall. Then from 12 to 1:30, we'll be having a small session, a small group session. That will be the last one, where we'll be reading about Silo's message. What is Silo's message? Then from 1:30 to 3, we'll be having lunch and informal exchange at the utility room. Then 3 to 4:30, which will be the last activity of our program, that is the joint session 4, and in which we'll be reading what we will do, that is to humanize the earth. That is our aim. So first session will start now. That is, what is our work to humanize the earth? And I request Ambili Harris to come and read it.
What is our project? What is our project is our topic. To give response to the personal and social crisis of our time. To quote from the third letter to my friends, in the epoch of great changes, individuals, institutions, and society are in crisis. The acceleration of the crisis will continue to increase, and so will be the intensity of these crises. Everything around us, the economy, technology, society, is undergoing enormous transformations. But above all, it is in our own lives that we experience these changes. In our workplace, our families, our friendships, and not least in our ideas and what we believe about the world, other people, and ourselves. Our own behavior and that of others all too often seems inherent, contradictory, and as lacking in any clear direction as the events around us. To address this, we work for internal, external coherence. If my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions are in agreement, if they all go in the same direction, if my action do not create contradiction with what I feel, then I can say that my life has coherence. But though I am true to myself, this does not necessarily mean I am being true to those in my immediate environment. I still need to achieve the same coherence in my relationships with others, treating them the way I would like to be treated. We do internal work to understand our own suffering and learn to overcome it. We learn about happiness and the sufferings that obstruct it, practice guided experience and principles of valid action to handle suffering in our daily life, work with internal guide to gain wisdom, kindness, and strength in our actions. Study and discuss our materials and practices from self-liberation. Reflects on the points given in the path of Silo's message. Practice our disciplines and asceticism. We reflect on our relation with the world. To quote the letter again, individuals do not exist in isolation. Thus, if they truly give their lives direction, this will change their relationship with the people in their families, their workplace, and everywhere they carry out their activities. We reflect on our relations with the world. One way is to look at everything around us from the point of view of what we can get from that. For example, it is possible that in case of family or friends, we look at what they do for us. We are disturbed if our expectations are not met. This is a consumer mind set assuming that we are at the center and everything around us is for our consumption. This is a centripetal vision and will result in contradiction in our life. On the other hand, if we establish a relation with everything around us as to what we can do for them, then the relation is totally different. It is a centrifugal vision and involves a mindset of contribution. Silo indicates that if our life is revolving around the first way of only receiving, it is so not because of our selfishness, but it is because of our error in calculation. He suggests that we do so because we believe that to receive is better to give. Silo further guides us to reflect on best moments of our life and suggests that we will find them always associated with giving. Thus, we feel better when we help others rather than we have to take help from others. Silo suggests that we develop a relationship with the world of giving to help others. Silo elaborates that this attitude has to do with what we think is the meaning of our life. We believe that we are just an ordinary people whose born will grow and die one day. Then we will live our life mechanically. On the other hand, if we believe that we are born to make a difference to the world, then we will give a direction to our life. We work for personal and social transformation simultaneously. Today, as things are, the big capital is getting concentrated. The gap between the have and the have-not is widening terribly. This will lead to a worldwide collapse with dehumanizing results. As a world convulsed by hunger and overflowing with refugees, a world of endless fighting, warfare, chaos, and constant fear, a world of abuse of authority, injustice, and erosion of basic liberties, a world in which new forms of obscurantism will triumph. To work for social transformation would be to work for dramatic change in the living conditions of people all over the world, ensuring education, health, and quality of life for all human beings, removal of all kinds of violence, exploitation, and discrimination, working for real democracy with decentralization as against formal democracy. Such social transformation is to be brought about by popular pressure and not through violence. We act through 5 organisms to call public attention to social contradiction and organizing struggle in the direction of humanist revolution. Alternatively, we work to propagate Silo's message to help people develop, connect with their internal self and local internal reference to live a coherent life in the dehumanized world. We work to recognize the sacred within us and in others and build on the new sensibility based on humanist attitude, placing human being as the central value, affirming equality of all human beings, recognizing and respecting personal and cultural diversity, encouraging the tendency of developed knowledge beyond what is given as absolute truth, affirming freedom of ideas and belief, repudiating all forms of violence. We work together to build a new civilization. Thank you.
Any doubts, any questions are there? किसी को पूछना है तो पूछ लीजिए.
We say that to keep the greenery alive, so we should take a campaign
that burning the trees or cutting the trees, is so we create some campaign, some informative talks, some, reports, something like that, so that instead of violence and doing agitation and all that, we create a way, a awareness, something like that. So you see, there are many types of violence, actually. So first is a physical violence, when two people fight. So it's a physical violence. Then, second one is, violence of gender, male, female. Then, there is a discrimination. Then, social violence, rich and poor, some exploitation, of the people. So all these are, economic violence. Then, monopolizing things, not allowing others to, have access to the things, commercialize everything, like water, electricity, air, basic land. So all these are economic violence. So then, there is a religious violence, discrimination on the basis of religion. Then, caste and creed violence, the basis of discrimination on basis of different caste, different creed, and all that. And lastly, the moral violence, that when you see the things around you are not going in the right direction, so instead of actively doing something for it, we ignore it, So these are the different violences. Either we get victimized of this violence, or sometimes we act, in the society with this violence. The question was that instead of, bringing the change with a violent means, instead of that, you create, an opinion. Social pressure, popular pressure. There is an internal violence also, external violence and internal violence. When, when internally we feel frustrated, angry, anguish, depressed. So these are the internal violence, in which we curse ourselves, we curse, our faith, we curse our ability. There is a jealousy. So all these are, internal violences that we create. Fear of future.
Or you can come forward and speak on what we have spoken here. On any topic, any one paragraph you can take and you can speak.
No question at all. When Nilesh was talking about violence, some thoughts came to my mind. I just want to share that sort. For me, I feel that there is subtle level violence like that. For example, we are sitting here, and Nilesh Bhai is talking. We all are listening, and someone is, please stand up, moving his chair like this. For me, this is a violence. See? Yeah. This is a violence. I don't know which category it comes, but it's a violence, no doubt at all. And you are coming to the venue, and you are parking your vehicle without giving much thought that so many vehicles are parking there. If they want to go outside, whether they can take their vehicle properly, reverse, or not like that, without thinking any of these things, if you are parking your vehicle there, that also is a violence, I think. I mean, I'm talking about subtle level violence. That's all. Thank you.
It is not a question of what is violence for you. If somebody moves a chair like this, and if you feel disturbed, that is not violence. Violence definition is what? Anything that harms human being or hinders their development, that is violence. What you are saying is your interpretation of your thing. So when a poor person borrows money to make a house and then municipality comes and demolishes, then for that person, that life is ruined. When a municipal school student cannot go to school because school facilities are not there, so now that child cannot develop. That is the violence. So in our society, we see everywhere around these different forms of harming people. Now, Hamas and Israel war is very visible. But actually speaking, it is the smallest violence. The biggest violence happens in the form of economic violence, the exploitation, a lack of opportunities, all the things that we see around. When in the name of religion, people are discriminated. Within the religion, people are harmed that if you don't follow this and this ritual, the person will go like this and you have to follow this. So in the name of religion, people are harmed. Same way in the name of race. Some people use another language so they don't get job, or some people who have another color, they are not respected well. These are the things which really hurts people. They make people very difficult to grow in life. Then there is a psychological violence. I don't even touch you, but I tell you that I'll kill your family. Now, I have not done anything, but the kind of pressure that comes on the head. If you don't go to this JEE course, your life will be ruined. Now, with that advertisement, the people will go all the way to do this. Nobody is touching you, but psychologically putting pressure on you. And that is what is happening to all of us today. And when we are talking about violence, it is not that something is happening outside there. It is happening in our life. And it is good to recognize that it is in our life, and even more good to recognize that we are doing violence. Violence is not for just talking. In our behavior, in our working with people also, we are doing violence. So when we recognize the violence that we are doing and the violence that is happening to us, that itself is a very good clarity. In fact, it is a few hours of work where we sit together, we can have a retreat, 3-4 hours work, where we start understanding the different forms of violence, and we understand how this violence is happening to us and how we are causing the violence. So when there is a restaurant and you have taken food, and then there is a boy coming to clean the table. Now, how do you talk to that boy? He is also a human being. But just because he is doing table cleaning, if you talk to him rudely, in a way you have done violence to people. And this is what we think is natural. 200 years ago, having slaves was considered as natural. So we don't even recognize that we are doing this way to harm. So it's really speaking a good personal work to think about this theme of violence, how it is in our life and so deeply involved in things around us. And that is why the work of the Humanist movement is to work to oppose all kind of violence non-violently. This is the basic answer to your problem.
The Parimal said that whenever you harm the person, that is a violence. Yes, of course, I agree with that actually. But there is another also definition we can give, also on the similar line, that whenever you treat other human being like an object, that is a violence. And so there is another way also of looking at it, that how do you behave with the other person? Is he like an object, like a chair, or is he like a human being? So this one I just want to say.
Primary and secondary. If your whole life is focused on that chair being moved here or there, in front of you the whole world is on fire and you are talking about this chair movement. So that is where it's to be, all these things is to be understood as primary and secondary. When he said a human being as an object, it means what? In a factory is there, workers are there. It so happened that one worker lost his finger because of the machine. Now the owner says that remove him and get another worker. For us, he's just a machine, he is a production tool. Now that he cannot produce anymore, he is useless. In families, when elder people are there who are not earning, so now they are considered as a liability. This is what is more elaboration of it. So considering of primary and secondary is important. Second thing is considering of inconvenience to me as the main thing in life versus what I can do for others. This is what is our direction in the
we have read in the last paragraph, there are 6 humanist attributes. So I would request Parimal Bhai to explain to us with the examples how we can adopt this in our life. That is how we can orient our life to live as a humanist attitude.
Basically, he is referring to the last point about humanist attitude. What is humanist attitude? So the first one is placing the human being as the central value. What does it mean? Nothing about the human being and no human being below another. There can be a mill owner and a mill worker. They are in the mill, they may have a role, but all human beings are equal. Should we have mobile or not is not a question of few people, is a question of all human beings. 5G tower, will it harm people? Then it may be for benefit of some, but if it is going to harm all, then we study all the things. So we find a dam is to be made on the river, and it is said that it is being built for the development of people. Now the question is, who will get benefit? If millions of people are going to be displaced, if that tribal who is living there is going to be harmed, development is for people of the city and people who are living there is going to be harmed, then for us the question is, human being as the central value is not benefit of few. So whenever any proposal comes, our question is what it will do to all human beings, not only for some. So Humanist Party, when contested the election, they gave one of the proposal was that India needs development, but development for all. That is a very, very important part. Now, no human being below another. So everyone in society can have different role, different intelligence, different approach, different cultural thing. But to be treated as human being is a very, very important aspect. So in our work, we don't put economy as the center, power as the center, nationalism as a center. We put center of human being, and human being all over the world are human beings. A child born in Sudan is no less than a child born in US. A child born in US may get all the opportunity. A child born in Sudan may not get even food to eat. According to us, this is a dehumanized world where everything else is important except human being. People can be killed, people can be, life can be ruined, millions of people can go hungry, but what we may be more important is about cricket match for some other people. This is what is happening in society. So this is the first point, placing human being as the central value. The second one is,
for development, there will be displacement of people. It might be bridge, it might be road or dam. But I feel that people who are displaced, they should be properly compensated. If they are given some other place, that a house, job or anything, whatever they are there should not be any shortfall. They should be properly compensated.
that is your feeling because you get this propaganda of development. Why not your house be displaced and you be thrown in a village called Dhule because we want to build a building bridge near you? You can very easily talk about displacement of tribals, but whoever is living there, but only tribals are living there generally. Poor people are living there, farmers are living there, and they also have life. They have roots in that place. So it is not so easy to say कि भाई इनको पैसा देके you just remove them. Treating them as human being, understanding them, helping them, and it is treating that is important. Same way the propaganda everywhere is that whoever opposes is opposing development. We have to look at it. We need development, but not at the cost of human being. So this, when we develop a mindset like this, every question that happen around us, we start slowly looking at what is the human being. Of course, there are no perfect answers, but at least we can discuss, we can explore, so that the society starts understanding all human beings need equal opportunity. Now we may build an expressway, but a farmer there needs water in his farm. For a country, development is important for both. We are not saying that there should be no expressway, but we should also make sure that drinking water is made available to all the people. This is when we start treating human being. What happens is, we may not be able to change the world, but to our life, at least we are true to our life as human being when we treat and see all others as human beings.
Affirming equality of all human beings.
So now what happens? Now if you are saying affirming equality of all human beings in front of justice, this is what you are saying? Okay. Now when you say in front of justice, it is one part. But equality means in all the sense. So it could be justice also, it could be opportunities also, it could be being considered also. And that is where in society what we see is all kind of discrimination. So as we said, when we look all human being as human being, then we are common. But when we start describing that this person is speaking English and this person cannot speak English, this person is highly educated and this person is not educated, this person is rich and this person is poor, all that what we are doing is some way or another creating wall and unequal treatment for people. So humanist attitude is that when I learn to treat all human beings as equal, irrespective of their manifestation, irrespective of their culture, irrespective of their way of thinking, irrespective of their behavior, when we start doing it, in a way, we become better human beings. Because now we are treating without any discrimination. More or less is the same. When we say human being as central value, this is one more elaboration that when you say central value, what does it mean? Third is what? Respecting personal and cultural diversity.
Recognizing and respecting personal and cultural diversity.
So, humanity has grown all over the world, different places, different culture, different way of thinking, different belief, different food, different clothing. Now the whole point is that I am very comfortable with people who are similar to me, maybe in food, maybe in language, maybe this. And there is nothing wrong. What is important is to respect diversity with others also. So I am very good in my culture, I am proud about it, nothing wrong. But it does not mean that others are bad and others are weak and others are to be opposed. We can be very proud about our nation, but it does not mean that we have to demean other nations. We can be very proud about our culture. We should be. But does not mean we demean any other culture. This means respecting personal and cultural diversity. And I will tell you it is extremely difficult. It is extremely difficult because we all are used to everybody agreeing to us. When somebody disagrees with us, then what do we do? To be able to respect that person has that view, I have my view, it does not mean I surrender. We can discuss. But respecting that other person, and that in our behavior in daily life when we start doing it, again, is like our development. This cannot happen unless we internally become more stronger in being alert in what is happening with people around us. The fourth point is you can always add to it, which comes as a second point. So if respecting is here, celebrating is here, but actually today we are here. So coming to respecting itself is a big achievement for humanity. And today if we see globally, what is being tried, that one way of life in Western world is supposed to be the only way of life. And as long as you follow that, that is only considered as thing. So Western form of life is being imposed directly, indirectly, propaganda, no propaganda, advertisement, different ways, different mechanism as the only way of life, and all others are called backward. This is our current dehumanized society in which one form of thinking is considered as superior. This. I go ahead? Now, whenever we talk about humanism, whenever we talk about violence, but the point that we are talking now, which is a very, very important point, and generally people don't identify this with humanist. What is the point? A tendency to develop knowledge beyond what is established as ultimate truth. To challenge the current wisdom. Is it good, is it bad? Now, humanists say that unless people challenge what is wisdom today, how will humanity develop? There was a time when wisdom was there, that at night it is darkness. It was an established truth. Nothing can be done about it. When somebody challenged that there is darkness, but we want light, then light got invented. So when we say everything in life, humanity will evolve only and only if people challenge what is established as ultimate truth. So what is the absolute truth today? All politicians have to be corrupt. Is absolute truth. Power corrupts, right? Is absolute truth. Who said? Who said politics means corruption? Politics means participating in common governance process. And everybody should be involved in common governance process. No, but it is absolute truth that only big parties can win. Now, unless somebody challenges it, how it can? It is absolute truth that countries have to fight with each other. And somebody will come to further wisdom. You know, human beings' nature is only like fighting. Thousands of years, people were fighting only. But millions of years, people were living with love and affection also. That is also there. But it is brought with the idea that war is necessary, weapons is necessary, politics will be corrupt. All this is established truth today. And one of the biggest established truth today is that what matters in life is only money. So you groom your child with the idea that he can earn big money in life. Ultimately, everything is about money. That is an absolute truth today. But for living, oxygen is required. But with oxygen only, it's not your life. For living, food is required. But just with food doesn't happen the life. Same way, for living, money is required. But money is not life. Like this, when we take charge of ourselves, we take charge of the humanity, then we question so many things that is happening around us. All our organism takes stands in front of all these things. And that is how we disseminate this whole thing. So for us, just because something is old, it does not mean it is gold. Old was good at that time. It does not mean that it has to be thrown also. But it can be challenged, it can be explained, and maybe new things will come out. Humanity always evolves and will continue to evolve if this particular humanist attitude is carried out and respected. The next is, which is very important, is a belief, respecting, affirming. Freedom of ideas and belief. Now the point is that I believe, maybe, vegan life is very good. Well, I believe it's good, but others can believe something else also. So I can have my belief, I can have my thought, I can have my proposal, and we respect other people for their belief and their freedom. Today, what is happening all over the world, that freedom of belief is gradually being taken over, either by power or by manipulation. So by manipulation, people are broken, and somehow they have to start believing what is told as ultimate thing. So human belief is, on one hand, we talk about diversity, that is about the culture, but it's very, very important to also understand that everybody is free to have their own belief and own ideas. It's not necessary that I have to surrender, but it is very important that I don't impose. Every one of us are free to propagate our ideas. We are free, but we are not free to impose our ideas. I tell, we are working in humanist movement like this. Now it is for the other person to take the belief or not to take the belief. Now I am explaining that violence should not be there. The other person ridicules me. That is his idea. And it does not mean that that person is bad. Everyone is having their own ideas and belief, and they should have. This is what is the fifth aspect of humanist attitude. And last one is repudiating all forms of violence with active non-violence. And what is the difference? Non-violence I don't kill anybody is non-violence. But active non-violence is what? In front of me when somebody is being killed, and if I don't do anything, by not opposing, I am supporting. So active non-violence is a very, very different thing than what is called pacifism. Pacifism means I am alone, I will do my life, I will not harm anybody. But if in front of you, others are being harmed and you don't do anything to oppose it, in a way you are supporting it. There is a fire, you don't do anything to remove the fire, but you quietly watch and the fire keeps on burning, you are responsible for supporting the fire. So in one of the form of violence, one of the biggest form, most important, is called moral violence. By not opposing, you are supporting. So that is the different forms of violence. Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions?
I would like to know how to interconnect the personal points described here, that 7 points, the internal work and the points just you described. How to interrelate this personal aspect, learn about happiness and suffering, practice guided experience, work with internal guide, so many personal things are described. How to interrelate this personal aspect and humanist attitude in the context of humanist movement, organism and Silo's message.
So in this material that we read, first 2-3 part is about internal work. And he is saying that also we are talking about organism and social transformation. So we talked about working for the world, and as you saw yesterday in the school, that there was a lot of research done in 60s. One of the research is that when we want to change the whole life, everybody should change as an individual and the world will change. So there were some people who thought about only individual transformation and that will lead to better life. It didn't work. Some other people thought there should be only social transformation. Everybody should be treated equally and the world will become better. That has also not worked. What is very important is personal change and social change simultaneously. So all those who are working only for social work, I want to give up my life and I want to work only for social work, that is not enough. Because unless you change yourself, your social work effectiveness is not full. So humanist movement from beginning, very clear, simultaneous internal and external transformation. So if some person in humanist movement will keep only doing internal work, which is fine, freedom of ideas, freedom of belief, but as far as our work is concerned, that is not going to take us anywhere. If I mind my own business, if I am only myself, I am not unconnected with the world. Whatever is going to happen in the world is going to affect me also. So we have to do both personal change and social change. As far as this humanist attitude is concerned, it's like a clarifying that when you do personal work, more or less your behavior will also start becoming like this. And when this thing happens, when you talk in the organism, your proposals will be with these things in mind. And you will not be just echoing what is being told in the society. We have to know that what is being told is largely propaganda. Now your internal work will develop in confidence with you to take your own stand. You will learn to question. Just because they say, it does not mean. So you will point what is happening to all human beings. So then any proposal, anything that is there or organism sees, they'll ask a question, is happening to all human beings. And based on this, they will come out with the stand. So all this material together helps all organisms to take stands. Organism is, for what example? Whenever I want to talk about that everybody should have equal opportunity, there should be free health, free education, and opportunity of job for everyone. If I speak like this, I'm nobody. But if I speak from Humanist Party and we take this as a proposal, it is taken as a proper different thing. So organisms give us platform in different field to take our proposals to that. That is the whole idea.
Now we have come to the last leg of our retreat. This is the joint session in which we'll be reading what we will do to humanize the earth. And this will be read by Anuj. So after every one paragraph, if you want, you can have discussion.
So, how we are going to humanize the earth? It is good to remind ourselves of the following quotes from the internal landscape. You will not fulfill your mission if you do not apply your energies to vanquishing pain and suffering in those around you. And if through your action, they in turn take up the task of humanizing the world, you will have opened up their destiny towards a new life. Right? So this was the first paragraph. Would anyone like to share on this? Or any questions? Yeah. So we all have been part of the humanist movement for some time. Yeah. So any members would like to share how, for example, they are doing this or what this means to them? So let me ask then. Let me ask Vipul Modi. The first paragraph. Would you like to share? I'll read it again. Okay. You will not fulfill your mission if you do not apply your energies to vanquishing pain and suffering in those around you. And if through your action, they in turn take up the task of humanizing the world, you will have opened their destiny towards a new life.
We all joined Humanist movement. When we joined, we had some idea that there is some work we are doing. But as we went on participating over a period of time, we started understanding what is the purpose, what is the mission, what it means to humanize the earth. Humanize the earth for me and for others. So then gradually, slowly and gradually, our purpose, our meaning started aligning with the meaning that we understood as to humanize the earth. So in that process, we started putting energy. So we see people around us. I see where is the problem I am in. But at the same time, I see the problem that people are having, how people are suffering, what kind of violence or what kind of discrimination or oppressing system that is going on in the world around me. So if I want to humanize, I have to work on myself, as well as I have to put all my energies on in the direction helping others overcome their pain and suffering. So your mission will not be fulfilled. You will not fulfill your mission if you do not apply your energies to vanquishing pain and suffering in those around you. Only helping myself is not sufficient. We need to help others. We need to help people around us. Because what happens is that really I have seen people around us are in a state of confusion. They are like shuttlecocks. From one racket to another racket, they are moving. And they do not know where their life is going. And suppose you come in the way, you get also
the beating. So if you want to be happy, also you have to make others happy. You have to help others remove their pain and suffering. And if through your action, they in turn take up the task of humanizing the world, you will have opened their destiny towards a new life. We have been learning like in school, colleges and all different things and all. But this working on life project, meaning of life project, was not taught as such. We were taught, okay, you study and then you get married or you do this, and it was like any other normal person. But when we came across this mission, we came across this project, we realized how much meaningful it is for me. And if for me it is meaningful, how I can help others realize that meaning. That is how and if I help others realize that, maybe their life will open up towards another destiny. Their life will be oriented in another positive direction. Instead of like that shuttlecock, getting beating from both the sides. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vipul Modi. Okay, if you want to build a new life free of contradictions, a life that increasingly overcomes suffering, you must be aware of two false arguments. The first holds that I need to solve my personal problems before I can undertake any constructive action in the world. The second leads you to declare, I am committed to the world while forgetting yourself completely, right? So being a part of the humanist movement, I think all of us can relate to this. But would anyone like to explain or, share a personal example?
The very fact that, I'm here with my mother is an example of this paragraph. If I would have, waited to solve my issues at home, then we wouldn't have been here. I have to, explain to her what the humanist movement is, why I'm here, because, there are questions that, there are requirements that I need to fulfill there and answer there before, taking up a social action. So I decided to take her along. So simultaneously, I am solving both, in a way. And after coming here, she has understood and she is, appreciating what the movement is. So this is an example, live example, I would say.
Okay, thank you, Mayappan, for sharing the example. But we would like elaboration on these 4 lines, on the first argument and on the second argument. So let me see if I can invite Viren Shah to speak on it. Viren Shah?
Here what Silo is trying to suggest, that if you want to build the life without contradiction, then we have to understand that there are different arguments people put forward. So one argument is this, let me be the perfect actually. I look after my family, friends, my enjoyment, my happiness. If I'm totally satisfied, then only I will be able to spend some time for other people. Right now, myself is unhappy, so how can I make other people happy? So there is one argument. The second argument he says actually that I'm committed to the world. That means I'm totally committed. For me, the world, the society, that is very, very important. And not my families, friends, including myself also. That is the self also. Now, in this particular case also, both the argument are the false argument. That's what the Silo is saying. Both the things can be done simultaneously. We have seen so many social workers, so much dedicated. They don't look after the people around them also, very close by also. So is there like something like a monk, they are just moving. I want to do work for the society and not for this. But he says that we can do both the things simultaneously. This is a false argument, that let me be perfect so that I can make the world perfect or happy. Or I only worry about my perfections, my happiness, and ignoring the world. So this is what I have understood from this. Some 44 years back, I was introduced to the Humanist movement by some person. And every week, I used to go and attend his meeting. And this person was something struck that let me continue. I removed some of my resistances of not attending the weekly meeting. But within 8 weeks of time, I developed inner urge actually to start my own group because it's very simple. So what I did was, whatever he teaches me the previous week, I started teaching to the others, my friends, family, friends, and all these things, with wherever the space is available. So like that, I entered into this weekly meeting, and I can tell you that so far I have not missed any 44 years of my career. Weekly meeting is there, more than one weekly meetings. So it is up to us actually. At the same time, I've got a business. So what he's talking about, that I'm also chairman of one company. So I do my work also. I visit the very far off villages, some 1,500 kilometers in extreme end of the Uttar Pradesh. And I was able to manage actually. So when I go there, then I close my windows of my business. When I come back, then I think about my business. So that way it started. And at one point of time, I realized that why I should do this. Now everything is settled now. So I started now giving, and I retired at the age of 60, and since then full time. So full time I'm doing this work. So this is, if you are referring to this, that my business also, the Humanist movement also, it's not that the business first and both of them can run simultaneously. On the contrary, because I was in the Humanist movement, my business improved actually. It was not meant for that. So anyway, this is my testimony come explanation.
Thank you, Viren Shah. So whenever you're inviting new members now, you can tell them that when you join the Humanist movement, your business will also improve. Okay? No, that's just a joke. Okay, thank you, Viren Shah, for sharing that. So the next one is, you may agree with me or not, but in any case, I will affirm that this is the only way forward. If you want to grow, you will help those around you to grow. Right? This is, I think, pretty self-explanatory, but I would still like someone to share or explain further.
മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയാം. ഞാൻ മനസ്സിലാക്കിയത് നമുക്ക് വളരണമെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് മറ്റുള്ളവരെ ചേർത്ത് വളരാനാണ്. അപ്പം നമുക്കും കൂടി വളരാൻ പറ്റും. അത് രണ്ട് തരത്തിലും പറ്റും. ഒന്ന് നമുക്ക് മറ്റുള്ളവരുടെ വിഷമത്തിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവരുടെ സഫറിങ്ങിലേക്ക് അവർ പരിഹാരം കാണുമ്പോൾ അവർക്ക് ഒരു സഹായം ഉണ്ടാവുകയും ചെയ്യും. സംഘടനക്ക് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ വളരുകയും ചെയ്യും. അതാണ് ഞാൻ ഈ കാര്യത്തിൽ നിന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയത്.
Yeah, Harish told about this, that he understood that when we invite somebody in the humanist movement or in any organism, then what is actually doing? You are helping others to surpass their own problem. This is the only way. You will help those around you to grow, then you can also grow. So, yeah, that is the only way. There is no other way. This is the thing he understood. Okay?
To love the reality that you are building does not mean to place the solution to your own problems as the key to the world. Let me end by saying, if you want to overcome your profound contradiction, you must produce valid actions. If these actions are valid, it is because they help those around you.
I like this phrase, love the reality what you build. Now, what happens actually, in the past, we like something, we are more interested, and we go for that. Maybe it could be loving a girl or a boy or something, and then they get married also. But later on, the thing happens, now this is a reality, your marriage is a reality. They don't like it. And then this produces a contradiction. I should have, what you call is, you regret actually. Because the reality has been there in front of you, but the result or what register what you get is not the positive register. Now Silo says that whatever reality what you build, actually, you should love it. If you don't love it, then it becomes like a contradiction. Like a sleeping with the enemy. No? Every night, the couple, this is like a sleeping with the enemy. So there is a corollary for this. In the sense that from same sentence, we can stretch it to further. So now onwards, I have come to know about it. Suppose take for example, now onwards, you build the reality in such a way that in future you can love it. So this is not the corollary. So this also another message is there, the same message, but put it in some different form. So this I wanted to share.
Okay, so anyone from Kerala for the second point, which is, let me end by saying, if you want to overcome your profound contradiction, you must produce valid actions. If these actions are valid, it is because they help those around you.
Let me end by saying, if you want to overcome your profound contradiction, we have contradiction. Our thoughts, our feelings, and our action are in different directions. So we feel contradictions. You must produce valid action. If we want to overcome these contradictions, we want to do valid actions. Then what are the actions valid? We see the 12 principles. So if these actions are valid, it is because they help those around you. Valid actions are the actions which helps people to surpass their own problems. So when we inviting a person to the personal work of the humanist movement, then actually what you are doing there? You are guiding and you are supporting that person to surpass his contradiction. And you are promoting a unitative action in him. This is the way, this is helping others. And when you giving a help to others, this is a valid action. You know, there are 3 qualities of a valid action. When you do that, we have a feeling of internal unity. That second one, we want to do in many times in the future. We want to repeat that action. And also, there must be a feeling of inner growth also. These 3 qualities, when you do an action, please check these 3 qualities have that action. That you have better feeling, you must feeling a growth, and you want to repeat that action. These actions are valid action. So inviting a person to humanist movement or any organism, it is a valid action because you want to repeat this many times. And when you do, you are internally growing. This is very correct. This is the point I understood from this. Okay, thank you.
In the last part of that sentence, it says very clearly that if these actions are valid, it is because they help those around you to grow. You are doing so many valid actions, but when you actually see and actually go through it, and if you feel the actual the register within you, you will see that it is connected with your happiness, and also you will see that this is an action which I have done to help others to grow. So this is very important in the case of this field.
Just I would like to share my experience in my firm. I'm a principal of a school. So in the previous school, I was doing everything, like ruling everything. If there is any kind of leave application comes, I have to give approval. If any other program or whatever happens in school, I myself thought that I am the authority and I have to do everything. It was a great tension and great confusion for me. It gave me overloaded many a time. And I felt that I'm always packed, I'm always chained. I cannot move anywhere because my responsibility is too high. But I changed it. Recently, I changed everything into something different way. Means improving somebody else also. like along with me, I thought that I have to put responsibility to others also and let them grow. So now what happened, three heads are there. I have given most of the responsibility to these people. For sanctioning leave, they are maintaining. For conducting programs, they are doing that. And running academic things, there are some people for that. Everything is going on far better than before when I was handling alone. And moreover, now I'm totally free to go for the programs like this. So those people have grown up and they are the masters now in my school. And along with that, my staff members also grown up because they have the freedom to talk their problems to those people. Before, there was no such freedom because I was the authority for everything. They are sharing everything with those people and they are telling me everything. So now I can understand what's the problem among these staff members, and I myself grown, they have grown, and my school is growing.
Thank you, Dr. Anas. Yes. Thus, the core of our work is to reach out to others. Rephrasing what I stated in first letter to my friend. When you understand that only minding my own business without connection with others will lead to only dead end. Dead end. When you openly communicate what you are thinking and doing to everyone, you know without the ridiculous fear of not being understood. When you approach others not as some anonymous mass, but with a real interest in each person. When you encourage teamwork in both the interchange of ideas and the realization of common projects. When you clearly demonstrate the need to spread this task of rebuilding the social fabric that others have destroyed. When you feel that even the most unimportant person is of greater human quality than some heartless individual whom circumstance has elevated to what is, for now, the pinnacle of success. When all this happens, it is because within this person's destiny has once again begun to speak. The destiny that has moved entire peoples along their best evolutionary path. The destiny that has been so many times distorted and so many times forgotten, but is always recounted in the twists and turns of history. So this was about how we are going to humanize the earth.
So first of all, this is from first letter to my friends. So if you have read the letter, fine. If you have not, you can read the letter. In the letter, towards the end, Silo has written this. When you understand that minding your own business without connection with others, this does not take you anywhere. And what we see around is that people are thinking that let me mind my business. But that does not take you anywhere. When you realize this, something is happening inside. If you don't realize this, it means you are doing with whatever is happening. But when you realize that just becoming selfish is not taking me anywhere, something different is happening in you. There is internally something is happening. Like this, there is a second indicator. When you openly communicate what you are thinking and doing to everyone, without any ridiculous fear of not being understood. So I want to talk about Silo's message, and I want to talk about inner look. And I am talking to everyone. Earlier I am fear, will that people understand or not? Maybe my friends will not understand, so I will not talk to them. These people will not understand, so I will not talk to them. Now this is called ridiculous fear. Whether people will understand or not is their freedom, is not you. So without any fear, if you start talking to everyone, there is something that has happened within you. Now you are not doing just because of your reason or something. There is something, another happening in you. Third indicator, that when you approach others, not as some anonymous mass, I met 10 people, it's some 10 number is anonymous mass, but with a real interest in each person, now again, it is not you. Something inside you that is directing you. So this is an indicator of this. The next indicator is when you encourage teamwork in both the interchange of ideas and realization of common projects. Otherwise, you would do my way and you follow my way. But when you start encouraging teamwork, when you start involving many other people, again, it is not you. Something else is directing you to do this. The next indicator, when you clearly demonstrate the need to spread this task of rebuilding social fabric that others have destroyed. So people were connected with each other. There were large families, there were communities, there were neighborhoods. People were connected with each other, and that was a social fabric. Now whatever has happened in the world, slowly people are distancing from themselves. So this fabric is broken. When you start building it again, when you introduce Pradipan to him, you introduce him to him, when you again start building network, again it is not you are doing. Something else is driving you to do this. And the next one, when you feel that even the most unimportant person, a coolie working in a mill, apparently is an unimportant person, is of greater human quality than some heartless individual whom circumstances has elevated to what is for now the pinnacle of success. So there may be somebody who has made big money, somebody has started a big business, somebody has become in a powerful position. If that person is heartless, compared to that, an somewhat unimportant person is of higher human quality, now you are not looking at person based on their jewelry. You are not looking at the person based on their power. You are not looking at the person based on their position. But because of the human quality, something has happened in you, your way of looking at change, then what has happened within you? When all this happens, it is because within you, destiny has once again begun to speak. Now it is not you are doing. The human destiny is speaking through you. All this way of 5 indicators when you start doing it, it is not you doing. It is human destiny, which destiny means what? Going towards. And human destiny, humanity is always going towards becoming more and more human world, more and more humanist attitude. All this is speaking through you. The destiny that has moved entire people along their best evolutionary path. So in this human evolution, human growth, there is that human quality which has guided whenever humanity has evolved. Whenever it all stops, humanity evolution also stops. But now, when you start doing all these 6, you are not doing. It is that destiny through you as coming out to the world. This destiny that has been so many times distorted and so many times forgotten, but is always reconnected in the twists and turns of history. So over these years, this destiny has gone distorted, but now, when you speak like this, it is human destiny that is speaking through you. That is explained in that first letter to my friend.
Regarding first point, there is one line written by Silo. In that he says, everything I do, feel and think does not depend only on me. I am variable and depends on the actions of the environment. So even if you mind only my business, still you will be affected because you are part of the environment. So whatever happens in the environment affects us. For example, if a student is having the final exam on say tomorrow, and he has booked a ticket for going day after tomorrow, then something happens and there is a Bharat Bandh called tomorrow. Then his exams are postponed and whatever he has planned for going out will get postponed. So whatever happens in the society affects us because we are part of the system, we are part of the environment. Thank you.
So now is to reach out to the world. What are the things that we can do as individuals and as groups to reach out to the world? 1. Participate in CELO's message or any of the organisms. 2. Make simple leaflets and informative talks. 3. Reach out to the people around us. Could be our family, relatives, neighbors, friends, colleagues, etc. Possibly invite them to our weekly meetings, see what we are doing, invite them to the parks like this to attend different programs. Reach out to people on the streets. This we could do by distributing pamphlets, newsletters about what we are doing through the different organisms. Reach out to the world on social media. Arrange public meetings and talks. So if there is, some issue which is there in your neighborhood, like when we were sitting in the groups yesterday, we saw in Sharat Salian's testimonial, he was talking about the speed breaker and about adopting one road, right? So maybe we could have arranged public meetings and talks like that to get the viewpoint of more people. Diffuse the proposals through taking stands and social actions. And have weekly meetings of coordination and personal work. Okay? So this is all what we can do to reach out to the world. Okay. Now, on 1st November 1981, which most of us know was a very historical day, CELO concluded his talk in Mumbai by saying these lines. If faith in oneself is not renewed, in the sense that one is able to contribute to progress, and if faith in the possibility of change in others is not renewed, then we shall stand paralyzed before the future, and the dehumanization of the earth will surely triumph. Yeah? Those of us who were there yesterday, I'll repeat, okay. So, if faith in oneself is not renewed, in the sense that one is able to contribute to progress, and if faith in the possibility of change in others is not renewed, then we shall stand paralyzed before the future, and the dehumanization of the earth will surely triumph. Okay?
Faith in oneself means what? Faith for what? That one is able to contribute to progress. So when you start believing that you can contribute to the progress, that is called faith. So when you have a faith in yourself, irrespective of my education, irrespective of my monetary position, irrespective of my language, irrespective of my ability to speak, if I have a faith that I can contribute to the progress, that is a good thing. But if that is not done, so it means I am paralyzed. I cannot do anything. I am a small person. What can I do? I am alone. My ideas are not clear. I myself have not understood clearly. How can I explain anybody clearly? So when I always undervalue myself, then I am paralyzed. But if I put faith in myself, whatever little I know is good enough to reach out to others. If I have that faith, then I will be able to do things. If I don't have faith, then I will be paralyzed. If faith in the possibility of change in others, will this whole world believe us? All these people are chasing money, all these people are like this. Nobody is going to listen to us. If that is your stand, then you will be paralyzed, you will not do anything. But if you have a faith that people will change, people will listen, the humanity will become better. If not today, tomorrow. If that faith is there, then you will get another energy to work in the world. But if you have no faith in yourself, if you have no faith in the other humanity, then what will happen is we will remain paralyzed. And whatever dehumanization is going on in the society will accelerate. This is the first paragraph. I'll only read the second paragraph. So, to form communities with the members of one's family, with co-workers, friends, and neighbors, to form them in the cities and the countryside, to form these communities, as a moral force that gives us faith in ourselves, in others, and in human communities. All this is to grow in spirit as you look upon the face of your brother and sister, so that they too may grow. So when we start working with others, we organize groups. It could be organism, it could be Silo's message, it could be whatever work we are doing. When we put group together, when we share based of our understanding and learning with them, when we start sharing based of our understanding whatever we have with them, all this is to grow in spirit as you look in the face of your brother and sister. So it is a poetic way of Silo's way of saying, of where you see the people around you and have faith in them that they will also be able to do it. You must begin a new life. This was spoken by Silo in 1981 in Chopati. It is written here because it is equally applicable to us today. Okay. We have been here for these 3 days. We have interacted and learned from different people. We have got all the ideas of what all can be done. With this, we must begin a new life, and you must have faith in what you can do. So Pradeepan tells me that we will take World March in every district of the Kerala. After 1 month, he tells me, no, but nobody is coming. Here it is the point. If you have faith, whether they come or they don't come, you go ahead with your confidence. That is what is making the difference. Our work is not based on success. If you tell and people come, that is not necessary. Our thing is broadcasting, reaching out to people constantly. That is what, if you have faith. In order for this to be possible, accompany me in a free, courageous, and profound act that is also a commitment to reconciliation. This is something that Silo spoke in 1981 in Chopati with the 10,000 people. That if you want to make this possible, you want to ensure that faith in yourself, you have faith in others, you have faith in future. If you want to make this possible, then join me in a free, with no bondage or no such thing. Courageous, it is a bold thing. So far we did not believe so much, but now we are going courageously, broadly going to say this. And profound, very deep sincerity inside you. That is also a commitment to reconciliation. That whatever has been our past, whether we could act, we did not act. Whether we continuously worked or we didn't work. Whether we understood, we didn't understand. Whatever happened in the past, is immaterial. What is material is where we are going. So whatever has happened in the past, we reconcile with everything. We reconcile with people around us. We reconcile with people with whom we had fight. We reconcile with people who had harmed us or whatever it is. We reconcile with our own behavior of acting or not acting, contradiction or unity. Whatever we did, we reconcile with that and we launch ourselves to a new future. Go to your parents, your loved ones, your companions. Go to your friends and your enemies alike and tell them with an open heart. Something great and new has happened in me today. And explain to them this message of reconciliation. Go to all these people. Reconciliation. Whatever has been the past, we reconcile. Now we have no enmity. Now we have no frustration. Now we have no sense of guilt. Reconcile with all, and today launch yourself to a great future for you and the humanity. It is neither forget nor forgive. Forget, nobody can forget anything. The experience has happened with you will always remain. Forgive, it means one powerful person can forgive another weak person. So you are superior than other person to forgive. Here, reconcile is neither forget nor forgiving. Learn to accept that in those moments it happened for my situation and their situation. Learn to accept as it is without any resentment, without any guilt. And if you do this, launch towards tomorrow. Till yesterday I did not do anything, it's all immaterial. Now you accept it and launch today towards tomorrow. Let us repeat this. Again, he repeats the same thing. Go to your parents, your loved ones, those close to you, go to your friends and your enemies alike, and tell them with an open heart, something great and new has happened in me today, and explain to them this message of reconciliation. To all of you, peace, force, and joy.